Good day, our people at home. We are now in Paris, the heart of fashion, here in France, where we talk of mode. Today, our program today, we are meeting an important person in France. Today, one of the philanthropy, one of our pioneer in France, one of the member of Nigeria in diaspora, a tangible man, respective man that we can turn to and laugh at the end. I would like you to meet our brother, our father, and our uncle. Can we know your name, please?
My name is Nestor from Nigeria, and then I came to France in 1980. That's quite some time ago, a long time ago when things were good in Nigeria. And then after studying French language, I studied film production at the University of Paris in Saint-Denis.
Yeah, you're welcome, sir. Why do you choose to come to France? Because there's America, there's Britain, as a Nigeria, that is one of these English-speaking countries.
Well, I chose to come to France because while I was in Nigeria, I worked briefly with the Federal Ministry of Internal Affairs and the business section. And there used to be some French people coming to establish business in Nigeria. And you had companies, so many companies, French companies in Nigeria. So eventually, I started knowing about France. That's where the desire to come to France started. Eventually, my friend told me I could how to apply for admission. So, after getting admission in the French language school at the Alliance Française, and then I had to come. I did my studied at the Alliance Française and the University of Paris 8 in Paris.
So you must be very, very, good in when we talk in terms of French language manipulation.
Yes, of course, yes. I mean, if you want to live in any country where you don't speak the language, the best thing to do is to learn to speak that language. So I saw it as a priority. That's why I had to spend, I did my first diploma and then the second diploma superior in French language. So for a period of 2 years before I went into the university. And then now I've written some books. I've written some books in a folk tale, in Igbo folk tales in French. So French language is no longer a mystery to me.
Glory be to God. Yeah. When you first came to France, how was it comfortable for you to be able to stay in France? Because language that you have never been familiar with.
Like I told you, when we left Nigeria, our intention was not to stay in France or outside. The intention was to come and study, and after your studies, you go home. So, and in those days, we were giving ourselves a program of a project of about 5 years. That's after your master's, then you can, up to 7 years for your PhD, then you go back home. Nobody had the intention of staying outside Nigeria after his or her studies.
So now, what you are telling us now is that with time and kind of courage, you can still make it in a foreign land.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, yes. Once the determination is there, I was determined to study and go back home. So eventually, despite all odds, I mean the weather, not speaking the French language, that's why I had to learn the language, but I couldn't change the weather though, so we had to face the cold climate. until we got accustomed to it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. But can I ask you, right now, what are you doing now in France? Because it's been a long time you're here in France.
Well, as a film director, from time to time I work in film projects with my friends. And then basically I work for the Paris transport company, but it's in admin. So I do a couple of things, and I equally advise people, Nigerians that do business. I mean, that's quite a long time ago I started doing it. I have my company in Nigeria where like in those days, as far back as 80s and 90s, some Nigerian businessmen who weren't speak French, so I had to accompany them to the factories where they were to do their business, as the middleman, as an interpreter. So, and then I have a company in Nigeria. So, I mean, this is part of what I equally do.
Yeah, that's good. Now, as you are talking about Nigeria, it means because I'm seeing that you are a little bit or more closer to Nigeria. Yeah, which those things that are going on in Nigeria now about war here and there, agitation. Some are not happy. Some are saying this. Some are they saying that. I don't say know about what do you think or what do you see to it?
It's unfortunate, that we should get to this stage. Naturally, we shouldn't have been, after 50 years of independence, it's like we're going back to the period of independence, trying to discuss, what was discussed in those days, whether we're going to be Biafra or whether we want to be part of Nigeria. I mean, we should look, by this time, Nigeria shouldn't be talking about this. Take for example the United States. Since America, was created, I mean, there's never been any, although there are some times, but there's no section or state in America that wants to go out, and it's not going to be possible. So these are not things we should be talking about. But this time we should be talking about the railways, infrastructure, how to modify the electricity, or even, we should have advanced by now.
Okay. Yeah. Now, you mentioned Biafra. If I can see with your age, I'm just trying to ask you, during Biafra war...
If I happen to see Biafra, yes, of course, I was 10 years old when the war started, so I was a boy of 10. I mean, although I was in the village, so I mean, the war did not physically, get to our place. I mean, there were no battlefields in my village. But all the effects of the war were on us. I experienced the war like every other person that was in Biafra in those days. It was a very, very horrible experience. It was a very horrible experience, and I don't think anybody should have that experience or relive that experience again. Nobody in Nigeria, whether Biafra, because both sides, there were lots of lives in both sides. Although in Biafra there was famine, there was hunger, which took the life of a lot of people. But in the battlefield, there was federal soldiers who died, Hausa, Yoruba, So war is it's a sad experience. It's whichever way, people die on both sides. So the Biafran experience was a terrible experience, which I wouldn't want anybody to undergo anymore.
Thank you. But to avoid this kind of war and to make things move forward in Nigeria, to make those who are annoyed to be happy, and to make those who are not agree to agree with each other, because of what you have been saying, for you as an elderly person, what do you think that Nigeria government can do, and individually we can, manage to manage each other?
Well, whether you like it or not, we're bound to live together. Whether Biafra or no Biafra, even if there is a state of Biafra, Nigerians will still, people will still communicate. So, we have to build there, we have to go beyond our differences. I think it's very fundamental. We have to overcome this sentiment of I'm an Igbo man, I'm Hausa. We have to transcend above our religious and ethnic and tribal differences, like every other people in the United States. You have people of Italian origin, you have people of British origin, French, but once you're an American, you're an American. So in Nigeria, what's the point? Once you're Nigerian, you're Nigerian. And then coming to the grievances, which in some measure are quite legitimate. I think the federal government should, just like a father listens to his children, a complaint. If the government at all times should listen to everybody, people's contentions. That's why the government is there. It's like the father. You don't have to turn deaf ear to your child's or your children's problems. So the government definitely has to listen to everybody and make sure the people are there. They have the Senate, they have the House of Assembly. I think these gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, can, they can do something to avoid the misery. People getting for things to get to this stage. After 50 years, we're still talking about Biafra again. That means we have not advanced. We have advanced, but we have come back, and we have regressed, and practically. We have regressed in the recent of it, because I could see that when the British people were in Nigeria, because I was born 3 years before independence, then up to the 1970s, most of the infrastructure laid by the British people functioned. In those days, in many streets along the roads, you could open your tap water and you drink. So there was pipe-borne water even along the roads. But now in Nigeria and most of these places, whether in the east or in Lagos, and I'm sure in other places and it probably could be like that. So things worked when the British people were there, or when the real civil servants were there. So, but somewhere along the line something happened. So we have to go. We have to be conscious of the fact that we don't have to leave Nigeria. We don't have to leave the country sink. Everybody should make an effort. Everybody should put in his own energy and obedience, discipline, honesty, to make sure that the country moves forward for the future generation, for our children.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now, we'd like to ask you, you've been here for a while, and you've seen things moving. In front of you, you are seeing things developing, you are seeing things, witness certain things. With your experience, what do you think that I think you can transmit
from my experience here?
To my experience?
Well, in the first place is the fact that the state is supreme, apart from after God, is the state.
And nobody is above the state. Even the head of state is not above the nation. So everybody must be equal. And coming to Nigeria, the justice system is not very hasn't got enough foundation. Like in Europe, the law is respected in Europe. Even if you're a president, you can be asked to come to court to answer some questions. Nobody has such in Europe. You don't have that immunity here. So, but the first thing I think that works here is the judiciary system. The judiciary system. Nobody's against the law, and every crime is. You must pay for any crime that you commit, from beating a red light on the traffic to embezzling government money. You have to. You pay it back to the state. So here we don't talk about people. Everybody's more or less satisfied. People don't take bribes here. It's unheard of. Like in the offices, if you go to offices, people don't take bribe, and things are done according to the norms and as fast as possible. Unlike at home where an application or a license from the government can take up to a year or more. Here it doesn't. It's in a matter of days. And then especially the transport system too, especially the railway. Here in France you have I think it should be one of the best. The French must have one of the best railway systems in the world, because all the communities, the major communities are interconnected through the railway lines, and most people, even without cars, people can go to their different businesses in France. And then the bus system. So you have the bus system, the train, and then you have in between the bus and the train, you have the tramway, which is a kind of train, but the surface, the same road line with the buses. Yes, and then the transport system. I think apart from the judiciary, the mass transportation should be well taken care of in the country. With the population we have in Nigeria, we can't do without having good railway system. Yeah, the roads are not enough.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I want to ask you, because I knew that with the situation in Nigeria today, a lot of Nigerians, the youth especially, that cannot find their place, or say their feet among with the situation of the economy, they are moving out of Nigerians. And I want to know what you have for some of them that are arriving in France.
Well, in the first place, they should be law-abiding. Don't do anything that can take you to the police station or to jail. So the young Nigerians coming into France today must endeavor to, first of all, learn the language. Learn the language and look for a job. There's always something to do. Yeah, because all over the world, it seems Nigeria is having a wrong reputation about the Yahoo boys and drugs. It's not the best way. Yeah, maybe there's a fast lane. Our simple advice is not to take the fast lane, because the fast lane definitely leads you to jail. So it's better to avoid going through the fast lane. and be as legal as much, as much as you can.
Thank you very much, Chief Duro, Nestor. You'll be hearing from our chief. Lest I forget, Chief Duro is the producer, I can say distiller of this wine you are seeing with me. And the wine is going over the world.
It's called Nestor.
Nestor wine. That is original wine.
It's a sparkling wine.
Yes. Distilled here
in the south of France, it's in Bordeaux.
Yes. So
it's all over the world, including Nigeria.
So you can hear from him to talk a little bit about it.
Well, thank you. This is it. This is Nestor, a sparkling rosé. You only have the red and the white one. It has a very smooth taste. Check it out in the nightclubs in Nigeria or in the United States of America, and you get it, and you get back to me to tell me what you think about it, of the taste. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That is Chief
Nestor.
Nestor. Thank you.
Thank you.